Dude, it's gonna be so interesting to see what happens with the establishment if Bernie gets the nomination.
It's starting to really look like Bernie Sanders will actually get the nomination.
I think that he has the best chance of getting it, honestly.
Yeah, I look at like every other candidate and like the actual like metrics that determine electability, like staying power in an election. Bernie Sanders is like closer to Trump than he is to any other Democrat.
No, yeah, and he's
In terms of like rock hard grassroots support, in terms of donors, in terms of money on hand.
yeah.
Like he has more than every other candidate, and this is all without doing like huge fundraisers. He doesn't have a single billionaire donor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this will actually attribute to a lot of his success later on in the campaign, because as candidates start getting vetted for their campaign finance history, Bernie's is going to be spotless.
Spotless.
Perfect, clean. Everybody is a small donor. There's no billionaires, no lumped sums of money. And he has more money than the people who are taking those huge donations. Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah, and honestly though, if you look at like 2016, his campaign is stronger now than it was in 2016 before the voting even started. He's doing way better in everything except for polling.
Yeah.
Because back in 2016, he didn't even hit 4 million donations until like after the caucuses and the primaries began. Mm-hmm. But now he's already like probably almost at 5 million donations, because I know he said he was over 4 million, but
I think he's
approaching 5 million.
This
and
quarter.
He has the world record for donations. That is insane, and like that is not showing up in the polls.
Oh yeah.
And it honestly, that is more of a reliable way to determine who has more support than the polls.
I don't know. I don't think the polls, like, I don't think you can trust them for anything accurate. Like, you look at, like that focus group video.
Yeah.
Where, like, what was it? CNN did a video?
CNN.
Yeah, CNN did a focus group after the debate, and they had, like, 11 people, and 10 of them said Amy Klobuchar is, like, who they were going to caucus for.
Yeah, who also happens to be who the media loves.
CNN also handpicks polls. They might run their own polls. I don't know. But anyways, like, CNN's a huge publisher of, like, polling information. And when they're obviously handpicking people to say that Amy Klobuchar won the debate, then they're going to be handpicking polls that make Bernie Sanders look like he's doing worse than he actually is. Because, like, every other metric, he's number one. So it makes no sense at all why he would be polling like this when he's doing, like, the best and everything else.
Well, it's because they base it off of, like, previous election numbers. And back in, like, 2016, the voter turnout back then is way lower than what this election is going to be.
Oh, I would imagine.
Oh, my God. Because especially after Bernie's had the 4 years to, like, build his support, and he's already this much farther along, and he has more money than he did back then, and it's a lower average donation size, that is not going to show up in the polls at all when they're mostly talking to older people and middle-aged people who are, like, mainstream media viewers and have telephones. Obviously, Bernie's going to do horrible in those demographics. Like, I wasn't polled. Were you polled?
No, I've never been polled. I don't even know how you would go about getting polled.
Yeah, I've never even met a single young person that has been polled. I know that's anecdotal, but like...
Well, it's anecdotal, but at the same time, like, you would think that you would meet somebody who's like, oh yeah, I took a presidential candidate poll today.
Yeah.
But no, like, you never hear anybody doing, like, I guess, like, I've never even heard, like, my parents or anybody around their age say that they've answered polls, but who knows?
Yeah, but, like, Joe Biden's leading in the polls. How many Joe Biden bumper stickers have you seen?
Yeah.
How many?
Okay.
Yeah.
I have seen not a single vote for Joe Biden anything around
no
Bellingham.
yard signs, no nothing.
Bellingham, okay, it's a very, like, it's liberal, lefty.
Very far left town.
Very far left town. I think Whatcom County voted for Bernie.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure. But
in 2016?
Washington,
Washington voted for Bernie, and we are, like, the most liberal part of Washington.
Yeah.
You can assume that our city was massively Bernie.
Oh, it's surprising, though, because it's a pretty wealthy city. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of rich
it
people
is.
in the city.
But, like, cost of living, like, wealth here is, like, not exactly the same.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, so I have not seen a single piece of Joe Biden anything around town since, like, since this whole thing started.
No,
like, I have not ever seen somebody wearing a Vote for Joe Biden shirt, never seen a Joe Biden bumper sticker, never seen anything. I see a ton of Bernie. I honestly see, like, Warren every once in a while, and I'm like,
same.
oh, God.
But
But I see actually a lot of Yang, too, which
Yang
is cool.
too.
But, like, no Biden anywhere ever. And like you would think that there is going to be some more like moderate Democrats, you know, some centrists, some far righties disguised as centrists living here.
Right.
But I like even then, like I don't know. I don't think anybody's actually passionate about Joe Biden enough to like buy a bumper sticker because like you don't even know what the guy's running on.
No, you don't. Except for being centrist and being right wing on every issue and not actually wanting to change. He's running on the status quo. Is literally what he's doing. He's doing pulling a Hillary. But I honestly think, it's people are just embarrassed to say that they. Maybe to say that they support, like, because like that would just be embarrassing to buy a Joe Biden bumper sticker too. But actually, also, what?
I think my grandparents are Joe Biden supporters.
Really?
Because I asked him, I was like, if you don't mind me asking, who do you guys support for the primaries? And they were like, well, you can't ask me that. And I was like, oh, okay. Is it Biden? And they were just like. And didn't say anything. So I'm like pretty sure that they're Joe Biden supporters, which makes sense, kind of, I guess, because they're like about his age.
They liked Obama. Yeah.
I think they liked Obama. Yeah.
Yeah, like my parents were like they have a huge case of the Obama delusions.
Yeah, and I doubt they're very politically active at all.
No,
or like staying
really.
Updated.
Like my mom watches mainstream. Both my parents watch mainstream media, but they don't even like Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Like they can even see like, oh my god, like that's when he talks, it's hard to watch because
like, well, you're keeping up with anything with him. Like, that's very obvious. So I think Joe Biden supporters are people who don't watch him speak.
Yeah, because if you watch him speak and you still think that, like, that's who should be running the country, like, I just don't know what to tell you. Like, he's clearly not fit to be president.
Oh, yeah.
Like, neither is Trump, but, like, Trump is at least, like, he has like the charisma to like pull like his base in.
To seem like
he excites his base.
He seems less incoherent than he actually is.
Yeah.
Because like the way he says stuff, like everybody's like, "Woo, yeah, go Trump! Yes, I love Trump." But like the words he's saying, it's just all word salad that he's never actually going to come true on. So it's like I don't know. He's got the ethos down, just not the actual substance.
Yeah, but like what the difference between Biden and Trump is like, yeah, they're both idiots, but Trump is actually exciting his base. Joe Biden is running in the Democratic primary and supports no left-wing policies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, name a single left-wing policy he supports.
Didn't he have some terrible climate change plan?
Yeah, but he doesn't. I don't even think he supports.
But if you're a Democrat running on climate change isn't real, then like you're going nowhere.
Yeah.
But so like that's really just a given. But no, nothing basically.
But he also supports fracking and he supports like oil drilling and stuff. So it's like, and he's taking fossil fuel money too.
Yeah.
And he got so embarrassed for that at the climate change town hall.
I like in my freshman year of high school, I was like learning about fracking. And I was convinced that it was like a good, amazing thing.
Really?
Yeah, when I was like fucking 15 years old, I just had no idea like how bad it was. I read an article and I was like, whoa, no way. Fracking can make us like oil independent for the next 100 years. And I was like, that's sick. We don't have to buy oil from like the Saudis anymore.
Yeah.
But it just it's terrible for the environment.
It's horrible.
And it just puts shit into your water. Yeah. It's not good. Shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, but he was literally taking money. The next day after the climate change town hall, he was having a meeting with a fossil fuel executive. And it's like, how stupid are you, Joe? You know, like you would think that he wouldn't be that
So at that town hall, I think somebody like called him out for it too. Mm-hmm. They were like, "Yo,
the guy asked him about it.
Why can we trust you about this when you have like an ex-fossil fuel executive as like some sort of position on your campaign?" And he's like, "That's not true.
What?
That's not true.
He's a fossil fuel
executive. Boy.
Yeah.
You're wrong, boy. Yeah, that's not true."
I'm surprised he didn't tell him to do
Turn
push-ups.
the record player on tonight. Make sure the kids hear words. Let's do push-ups, badass.
That was literally the biggest debate fail of all time, the record player line.
Oh my god.
Like, even if you give him the benefit of the doubt, it was still a terrible answer, because he was just basically saying, like, black parents need to, like, raise their kids better.
He's like, this is kind of like putting words in his mouth, but to me it seemed like Joe Biden was saying black parents, like, don't teach their kids enough. Like, they don't teach them how to talk, like, language. And I don't know, I almost, like, threw up when I heard him say that. Yeah. And I was appalled. I was just looked at the TV, I was like, Joe, it's time to go. It's time to take you out back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like old Yeller
it was
style.
Like, dude, like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
You're running for a president, bro. And, like, especially because he has so much black support. And, like, he's the reason for there being a lot of, like, poverty and, like, crime and minorities in jail because of he was like
Oh yeah,
the
his
tough
drug
on
policy.
crime. Yeah, and like just
tough
giving
on crime, drug war, like that kind of stuff.
and then just disproportionately locking up black and brown people because of the crime bill, leading to like just huge levels of mass incarceration, the most in the world, and like they're just overwhelmingly like minorities compared to like the crimes that people actually commit.
Dude, something crazy I saw today. I was researching arrest quotas because I know like there's speeding ticket quotas. Like you have to give like if you're a cop, you have to give people a certain amount of tickets. In New York, like they got in trouble for this because like an ex cop like spoke out about it. But they had subway arrest quotas. Like they had to arrest a certain amount of people for like fare jumping or like jumping over the rails and not paying to get on the subway. They were instructed, and like this is a quote basically. I'm paraphrasing it. Like I'll try to make it as accurate as possible. They were told to like stand down on arresting the soft races as it was said, which was it was like white people, Asian people, and Jewish people. And then they were like given overtime, like extra overtime, so extra money bonus if they arrested more Hispanic and black people.
Oh my god, that's insane.
And like this actually happened in New York just a few years ago. It's just like it's modern day fucking racism and like putting black people and Hispanic people like as far below us as we can with fucking like trying to give them criminal records so they can't like get jobs and shit like that. And it's just like it's proof that this society is broken. Like law enforcement needs reform, and like that is something that should be like headlined around the entire country. Everybody should know about that. So like a change can happen if something like that is happening like near you. But no, like that. It was like one article that I had to find.
And not to mention, we're just wasting so much money by locking these people up.
Oh yeah,
because
it's ridiculous.
If we invested in like job programs for those people, or like education, like making public college free for everybody and canceling student debt, that would actually save so much money compared to just locking more people up and spending just like what is it? It's something like you should pay twice as much to send somebody to jail than you would to pay for their college. Yeah. And it's like if we just invested in the right things and then like legalize marijuana, decriminalize all drugs, or even legalize, have like a
I think you should legalize anything that grows from the ground. So like I think shrooms and I think weed should literally be fully legalized. Like you can possess as much as you want, you can sell it, fucking regulate it, sure, but like it shouldn't be a crime to have any certain amount of it. Like it should just be a commodity. Yeah, because like you can fucking grow it in the ground. It naturally grows in the ground.
Yeah, so it's like what?
Why is this illegal? Like what? It's like I can't garden. You're growing a crime out of the ground. Yeah. Like what the hell?
Fuck, that's actually
same thing with shrooms
point.
too. Like, I've found like psilocybin mushrooms outside of the courthouse here in Bellingham. And it was the funniest fucking thing. I like because I thought about it. I pick them out of the ground. I'm like, yo, I just picked these out of the grass in front of the courthouse. If a cop were to walk up to me right now and say, hey, what's that in your hand? I would get arrested for possession of a controlled substance.
Oh my god.
Like,
yeah.
It's
I don't know. That's extremely fucked up. Like the war on drugs is literally one of our government's biggest failures. So like definitely. The Iraq war. It's like
I'm so glad those were both just happening throughout most of our lifetime. Our whole lifetime.
Yeah, and they're just still happening. Yeah. And we're just not doing anything to stop it. And both parties just are okay with it.
Both parties, like that's one of those few. Those are some of the few things that both parties agree on because they can both make money off of it and maintain the power that they have.
Well, because they share the same donors. Like, think about it. The thing that's crazy to me is like Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump share a lot of the same donors, and then you look at.
Are you talking about like big donors or
big donors.
Small donors?
Big donors.
Okay,
like health insurance companies.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they do, and it's just like. She would agree so much more with Donald Trump than she would with Bernie Sanders on any issue.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just insane.
Because when you get down to it, I feel like the disagreements between, like, establishment Democrats and establishment Republicans is, like, very surface level. Like, they're almost, like, making up stuff to disagree about that's, like, not all that important with just, like, hopes of nobody ever finding out that they actually agree on all this stuff that is never going to change and is just making them millions.
Oh yeah, no. they're getting rich off of it, and their like disagreements are all just a facade. Like
Yeah.
the whole shit about how like Michelle Obama and George Bush and like the Obamas and the Bushes are just like super good friends because they're all part of the same club at the end of the day.
Yeah, basically.
Like they all get together at the end of the day, like, come on, we're just here for the money.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you got an actual progressive up there, this is what I was going to bring up earlier too, is that what is the media going to do if he gets the nomination? Because they're going to agree.
They won't know how to cover it.
Yeah. And they're going to agree way more with Donald Trump's platform than they will with Bernie Sanders' platform. Because think about all the time that like MSNBC spends shitting on Bernie Sanders. I mean, they spend a lot of time shitting on Trump too, but it's like
It's almost an equal amount of time. They're like scared of both of them equally.
Well, they cover Trump a lot because
because that's like the ratings, bro.
the ratings. I mean? But like in terms of like favorability, it's probably about equal.
Oh yeah,
how
for sure.
favorable the coverage. Actually,
like, I see on Twitter almost every day like a bunch of people who like claim to be like part of like the vote blue no matter who.
Yeah.
Like the resistance against Trump.
Yeah.
But like they're like people are on Twitter are saying like if Bernie Sanders gets the nomination, I will genuinely vote for Donald Trump instead.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Who?
I forget who it was.
Like the establishment Democrats.
They're just like they're just basically hacks, but I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just like scary to see that there's people like that who exist who think that Bernie Sanders is so misaligned from like what the Democratic Party should be. Like they think he's trying to destroy everybody's life, and it's just like so unfair. It's just a product of like what media is today.
Yeah, it just also goes to show that they'll only like do the unity thing, like the unity preaching, when it benefits them. When it's like they say like, oh, we all need to come together at the end of the day and like get like a Democrat elected, but they only say that if it's a corporate Democrat. Mm-hmm. If it's Bernie Sanders, a lot of them are going to go full MAGA mode. You saw it with, what was that dude the other day that changed from a Democrat to a Republican? There's going to be...
He was just on Fox News, and they were just like, welcome home.
I know, and he's like
he's like
praising
great
Fox
to
News.
be here. I love you guys now.
I know, but like think about how many more people are going to do that.
Exactly,
if Bernie
dude,
gets the
that's what
nomination.
I'm saying.
And that dude said it was because of the far left push the party's going in. The far left.
So ridiculous.
It's just...
Even though, like, moderate Democrats, a lot of Democrats in power are just more aligned with the right-wingers in any other country on the planet. Like...
No, the Republican Party here doesn't exist in, like, all these... Like, there is nobody that is, like, that crazy.
Yeah.
Because even, like, you go to, like Britain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, the UK, and you see, like...
Isn't Boris Johnson pretty crazy?
Yeah,
is he
he's
just
trying to
crazy about,
privatize the NHS, which is
privatize
extremely...
the NHS and like trying to leave the EU too.
Yeah.
Like,
but the thing is, like, they have to at least pretend to be left-wing on certain issues.
Yeah,
like, they have to at least pretend.
or else they'll lose all their support that's had these like left-wing things for like their entire lifetimes.
But we've just been so thoroughly brainwashed by right-wing propaganda and just corporate propaganda our entire lives that we legitimately think that somebody like Bernie Sanders is far left.
Yeah.
When he's just not far left at all.
That he's just a crazy lefty hippie.
Like, oh, Bernie.
That's like unheard of ever. Just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
he's just
stupid.
Yeah, it's insane because like people legitimately think that he's like as bad as like
Joseph Stalin.
Yeah, or like what's the Venezuelan dude's name?
Nicolas Maduro.
Oh, Maduro. Yeah. Like at MSNBC, that one debate that had MSNBC.
Oh yeah.
Where Jorge, or was it AB? I think it was ABC. But
No. I think it was.
it
was
was
the one
ABC.
with
because it was his voice.
The one
was
with Rachel
up.
Maddow. I thought.
No, because it was Jorge, whatever his name is.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Oh my god, that guy. Oh my god, that guy's the worst. But because you can so tell that he's just trying to attack Bernie Sanders at every opportunity he gets without even like, just like he's just smugly like saying it and not even trying to cover it up.
This might be kind of fucked up to say, but like I think they might have purposely had a Hispanic moderator ask Bernie the questions about Venezuela for like, you know what I mean?
I could see that.
For just like for like dramatic effect. Like,
Yeah,
oh, why do you want to kill me, Bernie Sanders?
Yeah,
I don't know.
So fucked up.
It's just fucked. It's like stuff like that I notice where it's just like they are doing every little thing to just try to tear him down and like expose him for something that like it's impossible. Like they're just chasing nothing. You can't like fucking expose Bernie Sanders for anything like wrong about his record or his agenda, because the only way you can do it is just by wasting time and asking questions that are just so awful that like he can't even get to an important point. Like that's what they're doing at this point, is just trying to slow him down because they know like him gaining support is just inevitable.
And any like real question that they ask him, like any good and fair question they're are going to ask him is just going to make him look so good.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, they have to
Exactly.
resort to the... And there's no material... Because there's nothing they can attack him with.
Uh-huh.
So, all the material they have is, like, socialism, Venezuela. It's all just nonsense. Like, what I was going to say about Maduro and that the Jorge guy, I don't know his last name, the question he asked was, like, oh, you've refused to call Nicolas Maduro... Is that his name?
Yeah.
Un dictador, a dictator, and he's just like, so, and then he says that, so he's saying like, oh, Bernie likes Maduro,
Yeah,
basically, this is like the narrative he's trying to push, and then the next thing he said was, and also, how does your brand of socialism compare to that of Maduro? So he's literally just trying to mislead the audience into thinking that Bernie Sanders is as bad as Maduro.
Yeah.
Is literally what he's trying to do, or Bernie Sanders is going to turn the United States into Venezuela. Straight out of the Fox News playbook on a so-called liberal media outlet. What? It's like MSNBC at this point is just a conservative outlet. Yeah,
honestly.
it's so unbelievable.
Well, yeah. I don't know, because MSNBC, like, for me at least, when I like didn't have as much of a grasp on politics, like I didn't really like I couldn't differentiate between like corporate media that has an agenda and like independent media that doesn't have an agenda. And I was told to believe, I had a teacher who told me this, like everybody made me think that like Rachel Maddow and MSNBC were like the most left-wing liberal,
I know.
the most liberal people you've ever
literally
heard
think
of.
that CNN
And, like,
is liberal.
yeah, and people thought like tried to nail it into my brain that like MSNBC is actually liberal. And then like when I learned, I was like, what the fuck? Like being a liberal in America is like you're not actually a liberal.
No, you're a conservative.
Like you're a fucking conservative.
Yeah.
Like you don't actually fucking want anything of like any actual good left-wing policy.
You don't want
You're there
any-
to sit in the middle and get like the best of both worlds, which actually just sucks and like is terrible for everybody except for the top 1%. And then you just have to sit there and you have to fucking eat it if you never figure out that like MSNBC is lying to you or CNN is lying to you.
Yeah, like in our two-party systems, the two options we have right now are a conservative party that's conservative on economic issues and on social issues, and then you have a party that's pretty much just as conservative as on the economic issues,
I know.
but then liberal on social issues. Those are your two options now.
It's like you never hear Democrats ever talk about like economic reform or anything. Ever. No. It's super weird. Like they just have no real issue with the economy. Like nobody has plans to like fucking fix poverty really. Like I don't know. It's just like there's no real focus on the economy in both parties, which is like why I think we've been like tricked into thinking that like this is as good as it can get. Because like oh, if they're not talking about it or trying to fix it actively, then it's got to be fine, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. And then when you have like Trump say or like all of the Republicans saying like, "Oh, this is the best economy we have ever had. It's tremendous. I'm Donald Trump. I fixed everything for everyone. Look at the stock market." It's just like,
my God,
dude, you're just you're like literally bold-faced lying to us. Yeah. Unemployment has gone down, but poverty has stayed the same. And guess what? Unemployment growth has not gone up since he's been elected. So he hasn't actually grown the economy.
Yeah.
It's just been the same steady incline that it has been for like fucking 10 years.
Yeah. And then all of the policies that would actually fix the economy and make people's lives better are just the only policies that Bernie Sanders supports.
Yeah.
And then all the other Democrats that are just corporate Democrats don't support that. So they just buy into the fucking narrative that the economy is great. Like when they ask like... On MSNBC, they'll even ask somebody like Amy Klobuchar, like, the economy is strong, and like, you know, then her response is always just like, oh, you know, just do a little tweak here, a little tweak there, but we shouldn't make college free, and we shouldn't have Medicare for all.
God, it's so ridiculous.
Like, as far as they're willing to go is like raising the minimum wage, which is good, like that's an amazing policy, but most centrists don't even support that. So they're just conservative on every single economic issue, and they just buy into the narrative that the economy is amazing and don't even push back on it a little bit. And then they just PC outrage scream, like that's what Hillary Clinton did. And it just didn't work. And it's just not going to work again if we nominate Joe Biden or Amy Klobuchar or somebody like that.
Dude, I don't get it with her.
Amy Klobuchar?
Yeah. I don't understand, like, what's going through the establishment's mind when they're like, yep, we're going to push Amy.
She's the least likable and Amy, the least electable.
It's like, what? Do you genuinely believe she has any shot ever
to win the nomination?
at winning this nomination? Dude.
Or let alone, say a miracle happens and she does, she would get mauled
obliterated
by
by Trump. Yeah, it would be embarrassing for her. Like
It'd be worse
it's
than
so
Hillary
funny.
Clinton,
Dude,
honestly.
she just shakes in every single debate, just the whole time. Like I'm like, what the hell? Is that her hair moving? And she's just like shaking in fear of having to answer questions.
She looks like a deer in headlights.
She's literally just the worst, most unelectable, unlikable, bland, milquetoast, moderate piece of fucking garbage candidate that I have ever seen in front of my very eyes.
Dude, the thing that's hilarious about it too is that she's so bad at being a politician that I remember early on in the primary cycle, she was asking Hillary Clinton for advice and like meeting with Hillary Clinton for advice on how to win an election.
Oh,
right after
wait,
she loses
after she
to a
lost-
reality
after she
star
lost to
clown.
Trump?
After she lost to Trump.
All right, I'm gonna play this back. Donald Trump, most politician to ever get elected, ran as a joke. His sons told him to actually do it. He was like, "Okay, I'll do it.
Fine, I'll do it.
Fine, I'll do it." Absolutely atrocious at like speaking. He just says racist and sexist shit all the time.
He says whatever
like,
he wants.
He's like, I could kill a man on fucking, I don't know where he said, somewhere in New York.
He
Fifth
said
Avenue.
wages are
I could
too
kill
high.
a man on Fifth Avenue, and nobody would care. There was a video that came out of him saying, I just grab him by the pussy. I don't even wait.
For consent.
For consent. Yeah, he does not wait for consent. He grabs him by the pussy without consent. He got elected fucking president over you, Hillary Clinton. Like, you have been the Secretary of State before. We thought that you would be able to fucking, like, figure it out. Figure out how to beat this bumbling idiot with no political experience who says awful shit all the time and wants to build a fucking wall. Like, what?
And make Mexico. He just
Make
said,
Mexico
I'm going to
pay
make
for it."
Mexico pay for it, and didn't explain how.
His campaign was an utter joke. He didn't actually follow through on anything he said he would. Like, he's just, like, completely ridiculous. Like, he's out of a fucking comic book or a movie.
Yeah.
But no, he's the president because Hillary fucking Clinton could not figure out how to beat him because she was so boring, so bland,
So
centrist, so conservative, so unelectable. She didn't motivate anybody. Dude, why would you go to her for advice on how to get elected against the guy that she just fucking lost to?
Well, you know why it was, is because on most of the economic issues, Trump was farther to the left than she was. When he,
Than Hillary
in
was?
rhetoric.
Yeah.
In rhetoric. He's obviously now just doing the opposite of everything he said he was going to do.
But just in terms of getting elected.
In rhetoric, because she signed, she voted for a lot of like the trade deals, and she voted for the Iraq war. And he's out there saying, "Oh, we're gonna rebuild our country. Like I wouldn't have had our people
out of Iraq."
Yeah, I wouldn't have had our people in Iraq." And he said, like, we're gonna get the troops out of Afghanistan. All this, just shit that he obviously wasn't actually gonna do.
Yeah.
And then he goes out there saying her husband signed NAFTA, bro. Like you call TPP the gold standard. That's the reason why you guys don't have jobs in the states that she lost, and in the states that are just considered the Democratic firewall.
Yeah.
He's going there and saying that. And all their jobs got obliterated by Democratic politicians.
Mm-hmm.
He's farther to the left than she is on those
Yeah.
issues. That's why
Literally.
he won. That's why he won.
He didn't really offer anything of substance to rebuild that, but like
No. He just said it though.
Yeah,
Well,
he said it, and just
he said like tariffs and shit. But
yeah,
like,
the act of like him saying that like it was these Democrats who destroyed your economy. Let me fix it. That's what got him elected. Running on the economy being just absolutely fine and like keeping to it as it is.
She ran
like
on, I'm not
Klobuchar
going
is
to change
doing.
anything. That's what Hillary Clinton ran on.
Yeah,
is,
Hillary
I'm not gonna
Clinton
change
ran
anything.
on status quo, and then she just fucking face planted, lost. It was embarrassing. Like, how do you?
So embarrassing doesn't even
What?
cut it, honestly.
Do you really like? Okay, if running on status quo didn't beat Trump in 2016, why the fuck would it beat him now? When he has arguably worsened the status quo,
Yeah.
and none of the changes you actually are talking about are realistic or going to do anything to make anybody's lives better. Like, it's just stupid in my opinion.
Yeah, the fact that it just shows what a horrible politician she is. And, like, the media thinks that she has a chance to beat Trump. I don't, honestly, though, I don't even really think that the Democrats care if Trump wins. As long as Bernie Sanders...
As long as Bernie loses, they don't give a fuck.
I
if
honestly
Trump
think
wins.
that the Democratic establishment would rather have Donald Trump.
Because then
than
think
Bernie
about
Sanders.
it. Think about it. Then it's another 4 years of
Russia,
boo
Russia,
Trump,
Russia.
boo Trump,
Yeah.
Assad, Russia,
Yeah.
North Korea,
Putin.
Putin, what would you say to Putin on the phone call? Why is Trump a big idiot? Blah, blah, blah. Trump sucks. I hate him. Donald Trump.
Yeah. And then they could
like, that's what they would do for 4 years. And just do the same shit that's happened from, like, when he got elected to now, which is blame every problem on Trump and other people, not actually put any blame onto the Democrats for losing these elections.
Yeah, no blame
and
at
just,
all.
like, being like, oh, this is fine. Because this whole time, like, this is actually what they want. Like, they want this to happen. They want somebody who's more, like, who's more elitist to their core than they are Republican or Democrat. Because that's what, like, politicians are. Like, they just want to keep the money at the top, so they don't give a fuck who gets elected as long as it's not Bernie Sanders.
Because it's all them playing for a team. Like, think about the Democrats.
They're all
it's
on
just
team get rich.
Yeah, Team Democrat is Team Get Rich. Team Republican is Get Rich faster than Team Get Democrat.
Yeah.
That's both of them are just trying to get richer and win bigger than the other side.
When there's stuff that benefits both of them and makes both of them rich, they're like, you know what? Let's come to an agreement and make a deal on this.
That's why the only bipartisanship is like when they deregulate Wall Street. Like so funny. Or like when they bail out the banks. That's the only. Okay, but
yep, we come to an agreement on this.
Think about it. When the Democrats do even the slightest, like, most milquetoast fucking improvement like Obamacare, what do the Republicans do? Anything and everything to get rid of Obamacare. Anything and everything. Because it was just, oh, Team Democrat did that. That's not something that Team Republican would do.
Yeah.
So we need to do everything possible to just
kill it.
Obliterate it. And they just threw 7 million people off of their health care. And just nobody blinked. They were just like, oh. Like, think about it. People, like, Trump is very likely to get reelected right now.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And he threw 7 million people off of health insurance. Dude, and he's likely to get reelected.
Think about it. If Bernie wins the primary, they're debating. You threw 7 million people off healthcare. Why?
Yeah, what's he gonna say?
Like, what?
Yeah,
you took people off of healthcare?
And then he'll
Why?
say, and then he'll say, unlike some people, I want everybody in this country to have healthcare through Medicare for all single payer system. What is Trump gonna say?
Nothing.
He's Venezuela, like socialism.
You're Venezuela.
Wait times, like
the wait times. We're all gonna die waiting in line. Like, oh
choice. He's gonna say that one too.
Choice.
Socialism,
dude. Okay, you know what Bernie should do?
What?
Okay, this might actually be genius. I don't think he's allowed to, or even thought. Well, no, maybe you are allowed to. He should just wear a fucking shirt, like a T-shirt that just has facts about Medicare for all on it. So the whole time the camera is on him, people, like, have to read what his shirt says. And if it's all just shit that's true and, like, shit that can, like, frame the actual debate, so the fucking stupid repetitive questions about, how are we going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for it? Does anybody else do this? Like, why are you such a communist? Like, none of that would happen if he, like, fucking made the people, like, actually research and learn the facts that Medicare for All is a very easy to implement system that exists in every other developed country. 32 out of 33 developed countries have a form of universal health care or single payer.
Yeah.
We are the one that doesn't.
Yeah, and then
it's like, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
The thing is, there's literally no argument against Medicare for all at this point. Like, there's almost no argument against it except for, like, the only things that are, like, legitimate concerns, like, oh, what about the people in the health insurance industry that are going to lose their jobs? There's just a just transition built in so people can get jobs in, like, Medicare or something. It's going to lower the cost for everybody. And then the only thing that's going to happen that's going to change it, that's negative for what the Democrats want or the Republicans want, is that their donors don't want that.
Yeah.
So it's like they have no argument actually against it.
They can't explain why they don't like it other than, bullshit, this is untrue, like, yeah.
I don't know. Like, they're, like, the how you going to pay for it question is literally the stupidest, like, criticism of Medicare for all.
They say, how you going to pay for it when we spend as much as the next 10 countries combined on the military and just passed a military budget increase of, like, over $20 billion.
No, it was like 50 billion, I think. It's something just ridiculous that it was, like, jaw-dropping.
Yeah, and we spend almost $1 trillion a year now
free
on
college
the
is, like,
military,
would cost, like, 60 or... I think it's either 60 billion or 80 billion. And they just increased the military budget by that much.
Okay, 60 billion or 80 billion? We spend almost $1 trillion a year now. $1 trillion.
Almost $1 trillion.
Yeah, it's like almost at 800 billion. Like, it's only going to go up if we get Republicans elected again.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the only thing. I don't think Democrats would like do well if they raised the military budget while they were like in office.
Yeah.
But if we get Trump again, like we know it's going up some more. Like,
dude, that's like the thing that's so like just telling about the Trump base and like the Trump team.
Yeah.
And he'll just say something, turn around, and he knows his base is just gonna do whatever he wants. So he just says something like, "Oh, I'm against all these wars." Turns around, increases the military budget by that much.
Oh, Space Force, so we can go to war in
his
space.
base just is like
what the
whatever.
fuck?
You know?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's the Republican way. Yep.
And then the Democrats vote for it. Like the
They're like,
Democrats.
oh, we get a little bit of paid time off, bundled in with this $150 billion military budget increase. We got to do it. It's the right thing to do. Like, no, you can get fucking paid time off passed without having to create Space Force because of it.
The Democrats
like,
are
what?
useless.
Yeah.
Like the Democratic leadership we ever.
Oh,
like,
it's a joke.
when people say that Nancy Pelosi is a master legislator, it is just that is the most infuriating thing ever. She's done nothing but give Trump everything he wants over the time he's been president and done everything wrong.
Yeah.
And dude, honestly, this is part of a failure of the Obama administration. Obama's presidency, if you look at it objectively, was honestly just a
an
huge
embarrassment.
failure.
Dude,
they lost
the
1,000
drone
congressional
war?
seats.
Lost 1,000 congressional seats. Drone war that killed like 90% civilians. Didn't give Flint clean water.
And was on the side of the Republican governor who poisoned the entire city.
Yeah, he was a joke.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And then it was him and Nancy Pelosi. And then Nancy Pelosi has the nerve to turn around and call herself a master legislator.
Wait, she called herself a master legislator?
Well, I don't know. That's just like what people call her.
Okay.
I don't honestly know if it's her.
It's
it's incredibly embarrassing. But that she says that, and they're saying that, and then she's just still giving Trump literally everything he wants. She votes for the military budget. They're taking money from the same people. She says she wants to defend the Affordable Care Act, but 7 million people lost their health insurance under you.
The Affordable
What are you
Care
doing?
Act, like, you didn't defend it. Like, you can't say that you want to defend it after you literally did not defend it.
You didn't defend it. And then
you had the chance to do what you said you want to do. Like, what? Nancy, fuck you.
Nancy, go fuck yourself. And then, good on the House. They passed the $15 minimum wage. Where were the Democrats after that? They should have gone. Then, it hasn't even been voted on in the Senate because of Mitch McConnell. That is a perfect opportunity to go out and say, hey, guys, we passed a $15 minimum wage in the House, and it was a Democratic-run House. Mitch McConnell and the Republicans won't even vote on it. We know you guys want it. We know 80% of you want it.
Sit.
She could go out, and they could be doing that all day long, and we might just pass the $15 an hour minimum wage. Because you think the Republican base doesn't want that? They'd be like, wait.
They'd be like, hold on a second.
Wait, whoa.
I'm poor.
Yeah, I want, like...
I need more money.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it would pass bipartisanly if it was actually left to constituents who, if it was left to the fucking people.
Well, they could pressure the Republican people or senators into voting for it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because if they know that their careers are on the line. Like if the Democrats were all out saying, we passed the $15 minimum wage, your guys' elected officials aren't doing what you guys want. Like, what are the senators going to do? You know?
Yeah.
But where was Nancy Pelosi? She wasn't. She's useless. She doesn't know how to be a leader. Like, she doesn't actually know how to legislate.
She knows how to sit in her position and make people think she's doing something while making fucking bank and being a do-nothing Democrat. Trump says that all the time, so when I say it, people like think I'm a Republican or something. But do-nothing Democrat is one of my favorite sayings
I know,
ever
because it's
created.
true.
Because it's so fucking true, honestly.
Yeah. There's also the do-nothing Senate, though, right now with the Republicans. It's literally the
it is the do-nothing Senate. They literally just, like, it's like when you would show up to a class just with earbuds in, just high as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay attention. That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, though, the Republicans are, like, getting their agenda implemented, but, like, the Democrats are literally doing nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then voting with the Republicans. So it's like,
it's all
why
just,
are you
it's
guys
like
there?
they're just all getting marked there and then just doing nothing.
Literally doing
I'm
nothing.
in the Senate.
The Republicans.
And I'm going to sit on my fucking ass for a day. Like, yeah, it's
like,
a joke.
Hey, are you guys cool if we throw 7 million people off healthcare? Yeah, sure. Are you guys cool if we increase the military budget by $150 billion? Yeah, sure.
The impeachment process is such a great example of the do-nothing Democrats, in my opinion. Because think about it. It would be easy to get Trump impeached if you did it on, like, war crimes.
You mean removed?
Yeah, sorry. To get him removed. I just use impeach as that for some reason. But to get him removed would be so easy if you fucking, like, did the entire trial off of his war crimes and his emoluments clause violations and, like, actually impeachable shit. Because he has done impeachable shit. But instead, what they're doing is they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to make the Democratic base happy and get Trump impeached. But what did they do it on? Well, they did it on fucking him, like, illegally finding out true information about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. Okay, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is what you're going after him for?
Dude, and keep in mind, Nancy Pelosi didn't impeach Bush for the Iraq War.
Yeah.
She was in charge back then.
They had no weapons of mass destruction, bro.
He lied us into a war that killed minimum 200,000 civilians. In the movie I saw, Vice, about Dick Cheney, it said it was like 600 million. Like, dude, if that's not impeachable, and a fucking phone call about Daddy Joe Biden, they're Democrat, oh my God, you attacked one of our people, that's impeachable, but the Iraq War wasn't?
Yeah.
What are you on, Nancy? Like,
I actually think that Nancy has been on a lifelong DMT trip and hasn't actually seen reality as it exists.
She doesn't. She
since
hasn't.
Before the 1920s.
Yeah. She's really unpopular, though. She's hated around the country, which honestly makes me so happy.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Republicans kind of like her.
No, Trump wanted her to be speaker because he knew he'd be able to take advantage of her. It's honestly so funny. He basically endorsed Nancy Pelosi to be speaker. Not actually, but like he basically said he was okay with it.
He's like, oh yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah, I don't care.
And then if that wasn't a wake-up call to see that Donald Trump was okay with being with Nancy Pelosi being speaker, like I don't know what is. She, like, holy
God
shit.
damn it.
She is a failure.
The majority leaders in the House and the Senate are just like the scariest gargoyles. Just Moscow Mitch and Nancy Pelosi.
Oh my God. Dude, Mitch McConnell is literally...
real life supervillain.
He's the worst politician. He's basically just a villain. Like an evil...
He's an evil puppet is what he is.
Because he's... I can't remember who I saw say it. It was somebody on like CNN or something saying that like Mitch McConnell apparently is just terrified of the NRA because his only purpose as a senator is to serve his donors. If you think about it, that is literally all he cares about and advancing his career. Mm-hmm. It is just
why insane. Is he so scared of the NRA? Shouldn't he be friends with them?
Well, he's like scared of them as in like
in the sense
he'll do whatever they want
in the sense that they own so much of him.
Yeah, they own him. Like because like think about it, these background check bills against guns where it's like
where he's just shooting it down. It's like what? And that's supported by like 93% of America. Like what the fuck
even,
are you doing?
NRA owners or NRA members.
They're
support
like
these.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't think anyone should be able to purchase a gun. Yeah. Maybe we should have universal background checks. Yeah. Moscow Mitch. Don't think so, guys. What are you, a fucking liberal?
Like bill that he blocked. It was like not even. It was like just a milquetoast like quarter measure that Obama proposed and
for gun control.
Yeah, and Mitch McConnell blocked. It was like it wasn't even universal background checks. It was just background.
Was it just like closing the gun show loophole or something?
It was something just so stupid like that, and then. He blocks it, shoots it down, and then he goes on Twitter and frags about
guys, I just kept America safe. Thank me later.
Yeah. And then, oh my God, it's so funny. And then he just gets away with it. Yeah. Like, he just keeps doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, what was honestly kind of, like, infuriating is that Obama didn't try to do more to fill the Supreme Court seat. You know how Mitch McConnell, it was Scalia that died, right?
Scalia, and then they were just like, you know what, we aren't going to vote until Trump.
Yeah, and then
gets inaugurated.
And then McConnell's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fill it."
And then like they were like, "What if somebody dies like towards the end of Trump's his like 4 years?" He's like, "Oh, we're filling it as quickly, as quick as possible."
And like, I don't know why people are like surprised by that. Like,
no, you shouldn't be surprised by it. It's just like it shows how fucking destructive some of our like political fucking practices are. Well, yeah, where they consolidate way too much power into like one place that's like not actually like representative of what the country actually feels.
Yeah. I mean, it's also just the Democrats don't know how to play politics. Like,
they
literally have no idea. Like, Obama and Biden went in thinking like, oh my God, we're gonna work with the Republicans, and then the Republicans are like, yes, and they just bulldoze the Democrats. Yeah. They would just oppose everything, so that when Obama goes in, he's like, hey Mitch, is it okay if we fill the Supreme Court? So he's like, and he says no. It's like, you're surprised? Like, why don't you do more to try to fill it? You know? Like, Obama just basically just rolled over and said, okay. And then McConnell's like, oh, if somebody dies, like, yeah, we're filling it. Like, you know?
Yeah, we're filling it,
Especially,
obviously.
Yeah. Dude, Obama had a super majority, and he couldn't get even a public option passed.
That's embarrassing.
There's no defense for that.
That's honestly embarrassing. That just proves that, like, fucking...
Quarter measures don't work.
Quarter measures don't work. Democrats don't actually care about you like they say they do. And, like, the party we have now just, like, it's a sham.
It is.
It's a big old cover-up. It's what it is. It's a big old cover-up of just profiteering, pretending to actually, like, want to better, like, their constituents' lives, but it's at the expense of their constituents. They're getting richer.
Yes.
So, like, bettering their own lives off the American people. And they call themselves Democrats. Like, they claim to be like, oh, we are the moral choice. Yeah. If you care about people, you will vote blue. And then actually, like, a lot of establishment Democrats are just the same motherfuckers on the right.
Oh, my God,
Just the same fucking people.
They
don't actually, like, want any substantial change whatsoever, which is why, like, I don't think a lot of Democrats even hate Moscow Mitch that much.
I mean, I think they do just for the sake of, like, opposing, of, like, being part of the Democratic Party defense. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the defense network for the Democratic Party.
Resist Trump.
Yeah, like, oh, Trump bad. It's like what Kamala Harris did.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You didn't want to block his Twitter or, like, suspend his Twitter.
What's wrong with you? Was that Elizabeth Warren?
And then, Elizabeth Warren
was just like, I don't care.
About?
Like, what is his Twitter account?
What?
Like,
it's Twitter.
Who fucking cares, Kamala?
And she was literally just doing it to be like, Trump bad. Like, I'm really going to oppose Trump. It's like, oh, good for you, Kamala, you know? And then, or when they go out there, they say, like, we don't hate gay people. Or, like, Joe Biden's whole campaign started on, like, when Donald Trump said that there were very fine people on both sides for that, like, Nazi protest in Charlottesville. That was, like, what he ran... like launched his campaign over, and it's
disgusting.
Like,
so
congratulations
like,
that you don't hate black people.
Yeah,
you know, like
wow, good for you.
It's like what Kyle says. Like that's just in the duh category. That should just be in the duh category. Like you don't even really like. Obviously,
you
they're
have
bad.
To say that you don't hate black people.
Yeah, you know, like obviously
you just shouldn't hate black people.
Yeah, and then they run their entire campaigns on that because that's all they say. That's all they have.
Look at me, I care about all of you.
Yeah,
and in reality, like they aren't actually putting forth any policy that makes anybody's lives better. They're just saying that, bro. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's such nonsense, honestly. Yeah, because, like, Joe Biden literally ran his, like, entire career as, like, the tough-on-crime guy. Like, the tough-on-crime guy. And, like, oh, my God, like, lock up his... He wanted to ban raves at one point.
What?
Yeah, did you hear about that?
No.
He wanted to ban raves and throw people who throw raves in jail. Is literally what he said. Like that's the type of guy we're talking about.
Oh my God. And that's like Footloose, dude. You know that old ass movie where like dancing is banned?
Yeah.
And like the rebellious teenagers have to like fight to get dancing back.
Yeah.
It's like that's what you're doing, Joe Biden, you fucking weirdo. You want people to stop doing Molly, so you're gonna like fucking put people who throw raves in jail?
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? You can't DJ EDM anymore or else you're going to jail?
Yeah, it's so fucking ridiculous.
I don't know.
Like, it's like, these people are literally just Republicans that call themselves Democrats, is what they are.
Yeah.
And they just mask it all in, oh my God, we don't hate black people or we don't hate gay people. But then they turn around and do the same racist and fucking terrible policies for black people.
No, we're not going to pass Medicare for all.
Yeah, no.
We're not going to do it. I don't care how many lives it would make better.
Yeah.
We're going to pretend like it's not actually good. We're going to pretend like it's more expensive than it actually is. We're going to pretend like nowhere else does it, and then we're going to say it's bad.
Yeah. It's like you look at people like Pete Buttigieg, and it's just like, this dude is literally a Republican. I think he would honestly be a more conservative president than Obama was.
Bro, I think he might have had a chance of beating Trump if he fucking ran as a Republican.
Oh, Pete Buttigieg?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
But Trump has like a 90% approval rating.
Yeah, but like that's because think of the rest of the Republican Party, Rem.
What?
Who is a decent politician that isn't Trump?
As a Republican?
The skill of politics.
The establishment Republicans literally cannot win anymore.
They're just clams, dude.
They can't win any. Did you see what he did to every other establishment politician?
Yeah.
Did you see what he did to Jeb exclamation point?
And that's why you're pulling at 2%, Jeb.
Yeah, he's like, oh, he wants to be a tough. Every time Jeb would like challenge him, he's like, oh, he wants to be a tough guy. Like when he said like that Jeb Bush wasn't hard on immigration because his wife was Mexican.
What?
Do you remember that?
No.
So Jeb Bush's wife is Mexican.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump basically said that he wasn't tough enough on illegal immigration because his wife was Mexican.
And she's just a legal citizen.
I know. And then Donald Trump, and then Jeb Bush was like, "My wife's right in the audience right here. Why don't you apologize to her?" And Donald Trump was literally just like, "No, Jeb, I'm not gonna do that. He wants to be a tough guy." And it's like the base is just they just loved it because it was like he just said like a racist, clearly,
stupid,
racist
not
comment.
Fucking sensical comment.
And his he knows that's what the base wants to hear.
Yeah.
Because he just says it. He just says what the base wants to hear.
They're just tired of all the Republicans. Hey, be nice.
Yeah, be nice. Yeah, and then you got like Mitt Romney, who's a fucking hedge fund manager, going out there saying that he likes war and like he fucking wants to cut taxes for rich people. It's like, obviously Donald Trump is going to beat those
They're
idiots.
just fucking scarecrows. That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like somebody like Pete Buttigieg, who was somehow able to convince even a tiny bit of Democratic voters that he's like trustworthy.
Yeah.
Against Trump, I feel like he actually wouldn't have done too bad.
Really?
Yeah, if he was going as a Republican. Because the gay soldier...
Yeah, but like...
Compared to like Mike Pence and Trump, I feel like most Republicans like aren't actually homophobic.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I agree. But like, that's definitely like... They like to hear, like his base likes to hear the like edgier.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
You
The
know
too far gone's like they just get farther gone each time he says something racist.
But that's why I think Bernie has the best chance to win too, is because the Democratic base is so much bigger than the Republican base, because those policies that the Democratic base wants are just appealing to so many more people than
they're
Republican
appealing
base.
to most Republicans. Like,
yeah, and so it's like Bernie's gonna get the whole base. Shit tons of independents and people that have never voted before, all the young people, and he's even going to peel off some conservatives and some Republicans.
Oh, I'm sure.
So it's like, we're going to try to put somebody up like melting brain Joe Biden up against...
Who just has absolutely no chance, doesn't know what he's talking about, and like doesn't actually support policies that poll well.
Yeah.
Like, he supports non-existent policies and policies that are just countermeasures that nobody has ever even thought about in their lives.
Somebody who voted for the Iraq War, too, which is part of the reason Trump got elected. It's because he
ran against it.
Claimed he was against it, even though you just go back, there's literally clips of saying that he is for the Iraq War. It didn't matter because he said that he was against it.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. It's embarrassing for Mr. Biden to even be on the stage.
Yeah.
It's like people don't, like, I think a lot of America doesn't understand, like, the tragedy that was the Iraq War, like, how unjust it was.
Oh my God.
I feel like a lot of
horrible.
people just don't even understand it.
It was
so,
just
like,
profiteering off of death and destruction.
Yeah, so, like, when Bernie says, like, Joe, you voted for the Iraq War, and I did not.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh.
He's
and
like,
he just, like, smiles. He's like, LOL. Like, most Americans, like, they don't probably weigh that very heavily.
No.
Like, they don't, like, know what that means in the grand scheme of things. Like, know what the Iraq War was.
Dude, the public was so misled about the Iraq War.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Everybody was told that we have to go and take Iraq to stop Al-Qaeda. But Al-Qaeda was just barely even in Iraq at the time. Like, it wasn't even an issue.
They were like, what?
Iraq.
We're from Saudi Arabia,
Yeah,
bro.
no.
Like,
and then you had Dick Cheney looking for an excuse to get all the oil in Iraq, going, oh,
well, if we go to war there and we control the territory, maybe we can get some oil, boys.
And then he's like, but let's tell the public that Al-Qaeda is mainly an issue in Iraq.
Yeah.
Just so they think that we have to go to war there. And it just worked. And then you got Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton fucking voting for that when they knew what they... Nancy Pelosi literally just came out and said that she knew that there were no weapons of mass destruction. And she didn't impeach Bush for that. So it's like...
She knew that the force for them going to war was wrong, was a lie.
She knew it was a war based on lies.
And voted for it to happen anyway and didn't apologize or
did she vote for it?
Or actually, not her, I guess. But, like, not impeaching Bush for that, but then impeaching Trump over...
The phone call.
The phone call.
Yeah.
The phone call. Like, it's just, I don't know. Democrats don't actually give a fuck about anything except for themselves.
Themselves. Yeah, and it is, like, embarrassing that Nancy Pelosi got away with that. That she just utterly failed the American people and just got at least 200,000 innocent people killed and allowed a fucking torture program to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And then she just doesn't impeach him for it, lets it happen. And then she comes out and says that she's a master legislator.
Honestly, like, the most masterful legislator we've ever seen.
Yeah, honestly.
God, Nancy's so great.
Oh my god, it's so bad. It's so bad. And, like, I don't know. Yeah, the Democrats are, like, they're just as corrupt and, like, just as horrible as the Republicans. But, like, it's still shocking to me that, like, the Republicans can blatantly come out and say, like, oh, yeah, like, we want to cut taxes for the rich. Or, like, we want to, like... You know, well, Donald Trump, I guess, didn't say that he wanted to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. But, like, the Republicans just do this shit out in the open and, like, don't even try to hide it. And then they just get elected. It's like...
I think like with the taxes thing, they run on the pretense that a tax cut is good in any measure, like it's helpful to the people in any measure.
Just not true.
So then when you have like when they try to attack Democrats, they're like, "Oh, you're not for a tax cut, or you're not for a tax cut across the whole board. Like you only want to cut taxes for poor people and not rich people."
Yeah.
When it's like, dude, you realize that being rich means that you can pay more taxes because you're fucking rich and you don't need money to, like, you don't need that money to live off of. Every, like, I don't know, I would say every single dollar above, like, 200,000, like, you're making a year, ridiculous. It's excess. What do you need that for?
Yeah. Okay,
like,
but,
what
like,
the fuck?
The thing is, like, I agree with you that that's already so much money, and, like, that's enough. Like, you're gonna be fine if you make $200,000 a year.
Yeah, no.
Like,
I'm not even for, like, taxing people, like, ridiculously around there. I'm for taxing, like, multimillionaires really highly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that even, like, 200,000 is, like, already a lot, right? Like, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine no matter what.
And then you got people like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren saying everything above 50 million. Elizabeth Warren's is 50 million.
Yeah.
Is everything above that is a 2% tax. That is
so
reasonable.
I only have over $50 million. Like, what?
And, like, Bernie Sanders, his highest only goes up to, like, 8%. And it's on people making over, like, $1 billion. Or, like, 10 billion or something like that. And it's like...
just such a nothing policy when in the grand scheme of, like, wealth taxes.
And it's like, that just goes to show how rich these people are. They have no idea what to do with their money. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine, like, getting taxed, like, literal billions of dollars? Like, just having so much money that, like, at a fair tax rate, you're getting taxed billions.
Yeah.
Like, it's just gross that much wealth exists in the hands of, like, one person.
Yeah, and then you got the Fox News people, and you got the Republicans coming out and acting like, oh my God, you guys hate the rich. Like, they play the victim. That's what that's what they do when somebody like Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren puts through a very, very modest wealth tax of people making over $1 billion, 8%. That's so beyond reasonable. And then they come out and say, oh my God, they play the victim. Oh my God, you hate the rich. You're demonizing the rich. Like, how dare you? Like, we worked for our money. Yeah, they say that. They say, like, oh my God, if you work hard, you should get...
for this. We worked hard for this.
You got the Republicans coming out and saying they want to cut the estate tax, which is just only affects people that are making...
It affected, like, 80 families in the U.S. or something.
No, I think it's the point... No, there's, like, 80 farmers and ranchers that it affects. That they use that as a talking point to defend it. But it's, like, the top 0.2% is who it affects. And it just... If they get rid of it, it just allows people to just literally pass on billions of untaxed dollars to their children
that they did not work
for. That they didn't work for. So they say they want, oh my God, like, you should have to work
for your money.
And, like, we worked hard for our money.
We're fine with billions of dollars that weren't worked for, just floating around in our economy.
Go. Just to our kids.
It's ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. So, like, they literally just say, like, they're just openly do these things that are just so horrible for the working class. And then they just use these terrible, like, talking points against it, and they just still get elected. It's like, oh my God.